Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to the Book Talk Etc. YouTube channel. We are so glad you're here, and we love making these videos as an accompaniment to the podcast. And this week we're sharing our November and December books on the radar. So we want to know, what books are you excited to read for the rest of 2025?
Can you
This is like
believe that this is our last
our last
books on
one.
the radar of the year?
No, I can. I cannot. Even though I knew that. And I told you it's,
Mm-hmm.
December, November. I kind of forgot that that means, this is it. Wow. Welcome to Book Talk Etc., a podcast bound to grow your TBR. I'm Tina from TBR Etc.
And I'm Hannah from Handpicked Books.
This is a conversational podcast about books and more from two Midwest mood readers who are easily distracted by new releases. And this week we are sharing our November and December books on the radar.
If you enjoy listening, we'd love for you to follow us on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. And if you have a quick minute, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or sharing us on social media. It truly helps us connect with other book lovers.
Hey, Hannah.
Hey, Tina. How's your day going?
Fantastic. I took a day off to organize my books. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see my progress. I've got a whole couch covered of TBR books. And then over here, they're sort of falling down, but there's a method to my madness. So I'm having a really good day organizing my books. How are you doing?
Hobby project day sounds so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you're
Mm-hmm.
doing that. I am also great because Poppy now has their holiday drinks out and they have their cranberry
What?
fizz. This is not my loving lately. You just get an extra today.
Wow.
But yeah, this is like my favorite soda that they have. It is so good. And I already had my first and only one that I'll have today, but so
I
good.
Two things. One, love that you limit yourself to one poppy a day. Like relatable. But
Have to.
also, I feel a certain kind of way. I know this is our November and December books on the radar episode. And in my head, I know that the holidays are coming.
They're coming. I know.
But this must be what people feel like when I start drinking pumpkin spice in August. You know what I'm saying? This
Yes.
must be the feeling. Okay.
Yes.
I am currently sipping on my favorite beverage, a Canada Dry, but the sugar-free ginger ale kind. So
Nice. Look at us.
delicious. I don't know. I think it is pretty great. But let's cheers.
Oh,
Take a
I
sip
love
and talk some books.
cheers. I love Canada Dry.
Don't you? It's just so good. My
Hmm.
lipstick stains are all
It's
over
my
it. That's pretty gross.
it's my favorite ginger ale brand. Or yeah, brand. That's the right word.
I didn't, if pressed, I couldn't tell you another.
Verner's.
Oh, I've never been. I
You've
don't
never
think.
been. You've never been.
I've never been. I
You've
don't know.
never had.
I've never been. I've never had. Don't know. Just this one here. But
Oh, that's too good.
speaking of brands, I have a my loving lately is very silly, but I love it. Okay, it is a new deodorant that I've got, and I'm holding it
Yay.
right here. It is the Wild Cosmetics deodorant, and apparently it's by Emma Bridgewater. Now I don't know who that is, but she's right here on the tin. And the story of this is kind of funny. So over the summer, I went to two different bachelorette parties, and for one of them, all the girls were getting ready, listening to music. You know how fun that is when that happens. And one of them was like, "Hey, does anyone have any deodorant?" And we were just talking about how we can't really find deodorants that work really well. And so I saw this same bridesmaid at the, events leading up to the wedding. And she was like, "Guys, I found the deodorant." I was like, "What?" She's like, "You remember the conversation about how we can't find a good one?" I'm like, "Oh, yes." And so she brought it out. And I can confirm that this is a great deodorant. So, what's so special about it? It's the Wild Cosmetics cream deodorant, and it is in an aluminum case. So, this is refillable. So, what you do is you buy this one time. I think it was $17, which, I mean, I know it's a deodorant for $17. That's a lot, but you can buy refills, and it is a aluminum free, paraben free, phthalates free deodorant. And just two swipes is supposed to keep you fresh for 24 hours. I can confirm that that is true. And again, I am a gal who has hyperhidrosis. I have sweaty hands, and it's just, I need a good deodorant This one works super well. It also has great ingredients. It's got shea butter, coconut oil, and I'm just a big fan. Apparently, it's 98% natural. It also smells fantastic. I can't stress enough how good this smells. It's the honey and cactus flower one right now, and I'm holding it. It's in this adorable bee case.
Yeah, that
They
case is really
oh,
cute.
they also had one, and I don't know if they still do. Someone sent me a photo of a skull case. And I was
Ooh,
like, I need that so bad that I didn't buy it because you don't need two of these. But Hannah is wearing a
I'm
lovely
repping
skull
my
cardigan right now.
yes.
And I was so jealous. I was like, I want that case so bad, but I have the bee case and I do love it. Anyway, it smells fantastic. You can get your refills in your initial case, if you will. On Amazon, they have other colors, and I am a fan. In the, reviews section, I was looking and a bunch of people were saying that they feel like it um uses up quickly. And
Mm,
I have had this over a month now, and I'm like, maybe I don't use enough deodorant. I don't know, but I am not finding that it's like running out any more or less than any other thing that I would utilize. This one's also Vegan Society approved and Leaping Bunny
nice.
certified. So anyway, I have been a really big fan of this, and I am delighted to recommend to you my current deodorant. And this is the Wild Cosmetics deodorant. And my fragrance is honey and cactus flower with the bee case.
I feel like it is really hard to find a good natural deodorant like
I've never
this.
found one that works.
Never. I
Never.
have never found one either.
Never. And I kind of am like, you know what? I'd rather be a little stinky, or
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to use a real, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
honestly, this is a really good recommendation
That
from
is a
someone that
really
recommended it to me. So now I'm recommending it to you guys.
I feel like sometimes those are the
I love
best
it.
recommendations
I
in
know.
Loving Latelys are those ones that
I
they
know.
they have to be passed on because they're that
Yes.
good.
A
And you
friend's telling a
use
friend. Right,
yes.
like, we're at this party, she's like, "I gotta show you my deodorant," and we're like, "What?" And then she brings it out, I was like, add to cart." Like,
Yeah,
I
and the
need
cute
this.
case.
Very
Hello.
cute. Hello.
Hello. Okay, my loving lately are these candles, and I have had these candles for a long time. They're called Novel Wicks candles. I have a few
Oh,
of them with me
yes.
today, and this is an independently owned what?
Live, laugh, lobotomy.
Yeah, that's my candle.
I love that.
Yeah, the current candle that I'm holding to that Tina's laughing at is it literally says "Live, Laugh, Lobotomy" on it. But I have a couple other less macabre. Actually, I don't really have any less
Actually,
macabre.
more
This
macabre.
one says "Death by TBR," and okay, this one's less macabre. This is "Brunch and Browsing Books." This
Very
one smells like
cute.
dulce de leche. But novel wicks candles are bookish related candles, and they are handmade and hand poured in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is a family run, very, very small business. The woman who runs it, her name is Murphy, and she is just the sweetest person. And I really have enjoyed working with her, buying from her shop. She's just so nice. And her candles are really good quality and they smell so good. And I love that they are bookish related. And they also have, like, she has fandom ones as well. For example, I have her Stranger Things candles. This
Oh,
one that I
mhm.
have right here is Running Up That Hill. I also have a Hellfire Club candle. That's another Stranger Things themed candle. And all of her candles, too, have this sparkle
Mhm.
on the top of them when you first open. Of course, it gets melted off, but it's kind of her signature touch for her candles. And I love that. They smell really good. They do have a strong fragrance, but I really enjoy the fragrances that she puts into her candles, and the artwork is just really cute as well. These make really good shelf decorations as
Mhm.
well as candles that you can actually utilize as candles. And if you don't want the 9-ounce glass jars, she also has tins. Some are small, like I think she has a 4-ounce tin that you can get if you just want something small. This could be a good gift as well if you want to get one of the smaller candles too, or a stocking stuffer perhaps. So I love these candles. I have a lot of them now at this point. I've been collecting them for a long time and I just really love Murphy and like supporting her shop. And she did give me a code. This is not sponsored by any means. I've always loved her candles, but I reached out to her because I told her, I'm going to use your candles as a loving lately. Do you have a code that you want to give to our listeners if they want to shop from your store? And she said, absolutely. So if you use the code podcast, then you will get 10% off your order if you order from Novel Wicks Candles. So my loving lately are Novel Wicks candles.
Fantastic. And I follow them on Instagram. I was like, I know I follow their account and I've
Yeah,
never, like, I have to be honest and say I've never ordered. So I will have to remedy that. Thanks for getting us a code. How exciting is that?
I know. It's always nice to get a little discount.
I will buy, I swear to you, even if it's like a 10 for, I swear to you, if something has a code, even if it's more than I would typically spend on something, I'm like, but I got the discount code. Like, I
But I got
feel
the
like it's
discount.
like it is something that, and there's a psychology behind that for sure. But yeah, I feel like I will more likely to buy if I do have a discount code.
Oh, I
What?
will seek out discount codes too for
Oh
people that I
yeah.
know like rep certain brands that I really
Mm-hmm.
like. I'm like, "Oh, I know that person gets a discount code." So, I'm going to go snag that from their link in bio.
Ooh, I know. And then it's always nice to use somebody's code. I'm like, you get a
Exactly.
little credit here now and again, but
Supporting creators. We love
that's
it.
right. We love it. All right. Well, I will tell you about my latest read. And my latest read was the perfect book at the perfect time for me. It is The Intruder by Frida McFadden. And I am a gal that loves to lightly dunk on Frida McFadden and how many books that she
Lightly dunk
has.
on.
Lightly. Listen, I do like her books, right? I think
Mhm.
some of them are sillier and some of them come out too much and this and that, but by and large I do enjoy much of what I have read from her for what it is. And this one is about so this one's about a storm. And right away, I love a storm. I am a girl that will read a book that has a storm in it pretty much at any time. I just love it. And so this one, the setup is you are following a woman named Casey. She lives in a cabin in the wilderness and a hurricane is coming and it is not built for this type of weather. She knows for sure that her roof is not going to hold during this event. And she's also worried about the shed in the backyard. And so the book opens up with her basically talking to this slumlord that she rents from. She's like, "Guy, you've got to fix this. It's not going to hold." And he's like, "Well, we ran out of time. The storm's on its way." Meanwhile, I'm thinking, why didn't we organize this weeks ago? But at any rate, the hurricane is imminent. It's happening. So she's inside, she's making this pasta sauce. And one thing McFadden does is she will repeat things a lot, which is great if you're like listening and doing other things. But she must have talked about the sauce for 10 minutes. I'm like, how complex is this marinara? But anyway, the main character is stirring her marinara. And then she sees a light in her shed. And she's like, nobody should be back there. What's going on? The storm is happening. So she decides to investigate. And when she's there, she finds a girl just covered in blood and she has a knife in her hand and she won't
Casual.
tell her who she is, why she's there, what the deal is, and she basically won't talk. Now, this book is that's what you're getting. That's what you're being sold on the cover. And I think I've heard very mixed reviews. I enjoyed this, but I didn't really have any expectations going in other than there's a storm. I was like, okay, I know there's a storm coming. That's basically all I needed. This one is a book that has dual point of view, and you're following two characters. You're following a young girl and you're following Casey. And both are it's not quick back and forth. Like you're in the chapters for a while. Like you're following each character for a minute and you come to find out that the young girl is living with a hoarder. So her mom is a hoarder and she's treated really poorly, and that I will admit was hard to read. It wasn't, overly graphic or anything, but very, very detailed on how she was neglected. And so for that, I was like, oh gosh, this is terrible, right? You're going back and forth between Casey and then this other point of view and trying to figure out what's going on with these characters. I would say for this one, it's definitely more character driven than a twisty psychological thriller. I am a known terrible detective and I did not see the reveals coming. I saw a couple, pieces I had worked out, but I was surprised with some elements to this. Overall, I enjoyed it. It was a great read. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. It's also available on My Hoopla. So if you have Hoopla, check it over there. And something I appreciated, I don't know if I've noticed this before, in the beginning of this book, McFadden shares her author's note. And I didn't realize this about her books, but what she does is she says, even though my books are thrillers, a genre that typically has dark elements, I do my best to keep them as family friendly as I possibly can. You're not going to come across any graphic scenes of violence or sex. She spells it out, mostly because I know my family members will be reading. And then she goes on to say that she created a list of content warnings for all her thrillers on this website and acknowledges that they sometimes are spoilers, right? But I thought that was really cool that I never put it together, but her books aren't dark generally. Like they're not as dark as they could be or overly graphic, I will say. So a piece of me is wondering, I'm like, huh, I wonder if that's part of why she's so popular because folks are interested in that thrilling element, but like not too over the top. So just wanted to include that as well. I liked it. I read it in over the course of maybe 2 days, over the course of a weekend. So if you are somebody that tends to enjoy Frida's books, pick it up. I recommend it. And that one is The Intruder by Frida McFadden.
I'm glad that you included that about the author's note because I feel like it's always interesting to know what authors are intentional with in general. And, we
Mhm.
can make so many assumptions as readers as to why authors are the way they are or why they do what they do. And it's always interesting to hear about their process or why they do or do not include certain things. I also like that she has that on her website for content warnings, but
Mhm.
does mention these could be spoilers.
Right.
But if you're a reader who wants these, then you're going to have to be willing to be spoiled sometimes. So,
I agree. I always love an author's note. Like, I really could
mhm.
have the behind the scenes for the process for every book I read. Like, I just feel like it makes me connect to the author more, which
Yeah,
helps me connect with the book more sometimes. So, love an author's note here.
I agree. I also loved my latest read, and that is A Psalm for the Wild Built by
Yay.
Becky Chambers. And I literally finished this last night. I read it over the course of a couple days. It really could be read in one sitting. This is about a little tea monk and a robot. Centuries before, the robots of Panga gained self awareness, laid down their tools, wandered en masse into the wilderness, and were never seen again. They faded into myth and urban legend, and humans didn't even know that they still existed. And we are following the life of a non binary tea monk, Dex, who tells the story as they are upended by the arrival of a robot who is trying to honor an old promise that they made by checking in. The robot cannot go back until the question of what do people actually need is answered. But the answer to that question depends on who you ask and how. And this story itself asks, in a world where people have what they want, does having more actually matter? This is one of the most pure, kind, thoughtful, and cozy science fiction stories that I have ever read. People have been trying to get me to read this for ages, and for whatever reason, I just have not felt compelled to pick it up. I have actually tried picking up this book several times, and I had read a couple pages and just hadn't moved forward, which I just couldn't tell you why. Because one of the things that I actually really loved about this book was the beautiful writing. It just had such beautiful, but not pretentious or overly written writing. And I'm so glad that I finally decided to continue on and read this whole thing. And now, for whoever out there has been hounding me to read this book, thank you, because better late than never. I could feel the stress melting off of me as I read this book. Dex and Robot had such thoughtful conversations, and there is some of the best dialogue in this book as these two characters navigate some of life's hardest questions, such as what is the point of everything and anything, in a way that felt really safe and wholesome and even delightful, even as they were saying hard things. And I had a single tear for sure rolling down my cheek as I finished this
Just
one
one?
late last night. Yes, I was just like, oh, I was so touched. I definitely like took my Kindle and held it to my
Mhm.
chest.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, me too. And I will say this book wasn't just talking and philosophical conversations. I mean, the story starts out with sibling Dex launching into a new adventure, turning away from the life they've always known in attempt to find themselves. And then along the way, they have tea with strangers and visit vendors in the village and travel around Panga. So there is some adventure in this one as well. I can't think of a single person that I would not recommend this book to. If you want a good reminder of why it is enough to just exist and wonder at the beauty that we are here and connected to one another, pick this up, read it, and be reminded that your purpose in life could possibly be to just marvel at the birds. And that is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers.
I mean, obviously, I'm adding this to TBR. That sounds so fantastic.
So good.
Oh my gosh. I think
Just
we
loved
all
it.
could use a book like this
Yes.
now. So I'm
Yes.
happy to hear that. Gosh, what a juxtaposition, a little
A little
intruder,
intrusion,
and then like a
a little
little
tea monk,
philosophy. Now, what is a tea monk?
a person that gives you tea based on what you need. So
Oh,
someone would come up to them and be like, I just am really stressed out and I really need to feel calm. And this tea monk would give them the proper tea to help with whatever they need and what they're dealing with.
okay. I like that. I'm glad I asked because I was like, don't know what that means, but it sounds
Yeah, I
nice.
didn't either, but it was
Yeah.
just so cozy and wonderful.
Ah, okay. Sounds good. Now, this is our Books on the Radar episode. We do group together November and December typically because there's not as many releases in these months. Although I'm sitting next to 6 books and I didn't even try. I could have brought many more, I'm sure. So we
Yeah.
probably could break out these months, but for now we have doubled up. So we're doing November and December.
Yes, I am excited to get into all of the books. Do you want to kick us off?
I sure will. And I'm debating because I brought 6 because one, I was excited for all of these, but then I'm like, I wonder if we'll have overlap. So I have 6 just in
It's quite
case.
possible.
Yeah, so they may not be in order of publication date. So hopefully that is okay with you all. My first one literally is hot off the press. I just got it seconds before I
Ooh.
started recording. It's called 59 Minutes by Holly Seddon. This one comes out on November 18th, and I'm so pumped about it because well, first of all, I wasn't sure about the cover. I was like, huh? I don't know that I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It is showing a hourglass that's breaking, and it looks like London in the top part of it. And I was like, I don't know about this cover. What is this about? And it says Carrie is on her way home from work. It's an ordinary evening, and she is looking forward to seeing her family. Then her phone blares. Severe alert. Nuclear missile threat to South England. 59 minutes until impact. Seek immediate shelter, and this is not a test. I mean, what would you do? So, of course, chaos erupts around her.
Mm-hmm.
Her spouse and child, who are normally just a few minutes away on her commute, might as well be on Mars for all the chances she feels like she has of seeing them again. Another character, Frankie, is with her fiance, and they get the terrifying alert, and they are on their way to a country retreat. Frankie is newly pregnant, but her joy is shattered by the realization that there might not be a world to bring her baby into. You've got Mrs. Dabb, who's already spiraling because her 13-year-old daughter is missing. She, of course, wants to track her down. 3 women, 3 families, one last chance to be together before the end, and all they have is 59 minutes. I think this sounds really good. It could go cheesy, though, I will say. It sounds like one
Mm-hmm.
of those maybe sort of action movies. I'm going to try not to I don't want to skim and ruin anything for myself, but it does look like it has very short chapters and then you have these breaks in between. For example, it says 21 minutes until impact. So it looks like this will be very fast paced and sort of counting down those 59 minutes. I like the structure of this, and I am hopeful that this will be an entertaining good time. So this book is 59 Minutes by Holly Seddon.
Yeah, I agree. That one was a Simon title for
Oh,
audiobooks that we had access to. And I definitely looked at that and was intrigued. I didn't end up picking it up, but if you wanted to do it on audio, you
now
could.
I'm like, oh, bye. Let me open
Bye.
the let me open it.
Okay, my first pick is The Sunshine Man by Emma Stonex. And this is one that I believe Renee has brought a book by this author before, The Lamplighters. I want to say I bought The
Mm.
Lamplighters because of Renee. But this particular book comes out on November 4th. This is a story about Bertie Keller, who wakes one freezing January morning to the news that she has been waiting 18 years to hear, which is that Jimmy McGuire, the man who killed her sister, has been freed from jail. He's been released. And she leaves for London with a plan, which is to find this man and make him pay. But every story has two sides. Jimmy can sense that he is being hunted, and he knew Bertie a long time ago in a life that she would sooner forget, and he isn't the only one with something to hide. And the two circle each other in a heart stopping game of cat and mouse and plunge into the murky world of family secrets, betrayals, and unsolved mysteries. I love a revenge story. I can't wait to figure out what Bertie Keller is hiding personally. And this just sounds like a fun cat and mouse thriller. I tend to like thrillers like that. So I am excited to give this one a try. That is The Sunshine Man by Emma Stonex, and it comes out on November 4th.
I too love a revenge story, and especially when I hear that a person who killed somebody else is coming out of jail and like the
Mm-hmm.
person is trying to make them pay and get a little of
Yeah.
their own retribution. I think that sounds really compelling. Very
Well, and
interesting.
I'm already wondering. I'm like, well, does she want to kill this guy to avenge her sister, or does
I'm
she
sure she
want to
does.
kill this guy because she's hiding something that he knows and he's going to tell everyone?
Maybe. Okay, well,
I'm already trying to figure it out. So
you are you're a way better detective than I am. I'm like, don't know. Something's up. I'm sure
we'll
it's going
find
to
out
lead
when
to
we read it.
murder. Exactly. All right. This next one I am so excited by. It is called
Ooh.
Son of the Morning by Okweke Imeze, and they are the author of many books that I've enjoyed. This author might be the most diverse author in terms of genre that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
They write in YA, they've written in like contemporary messy romance, they've written literary fiction, fantasy. I mean, it kind of goes across many different genre. My favorite of theirs is The Death of Vivek Oji. That one's more, I would say, literary fiction. But this one is a steamy paranormal romance set in the Black South. I'm like, excuse me? Okay, tell me more. And it is about I'm do stay with me here. I'm going to do my best. You know, I'm not typically a fantasy person, but it says tender-hearted Gailey was raised by the Kincaids, a formidable clan of black women sequestered deep in the weeping willows and dark rushing creeks of their land. Gailey has always known that she's different, that there's an old and unknowable secret around her very existence. It's been a hollow ache since her childhood, something she assumes she will always have to live with, until she meets Lucifer Hillel. He's fronting as the head of security for her wealthy friend's family, protecting a mysterious ancient artifact. But from the moment she lays eyes on him, she knows he's not human. From their first touch, Lucifer knows something that Gailey herself doesn't even know, that she isn't human either. So neither one of them are humans, and they like suss the other
Mm.
person out. Enter Leviathan. As Lucifer's most trusted prince of hell, Levi is ruthless and determined to eliminate the intolerable danger that is Gailey before she brings death and disaster to those he loves. While unseen battles rage between heaven, hell, and earth, Lucifer and Gailey's attractions threatens to bring all of the structures of their existence crashing down. Listen, that's all you need to know. It is a journey of magic and fantasy that will take you to the very depths of hell itself. So, I don't know if this sounds like it's your bag.
I don't
Grab
know.
this. I don't know. Hey, sounds good to me. This one comes out on November 25th, and the title of this is Son of the Morning by Akweke Imeze.
Yeah, I mean, we trust a quickie meze. So
Yeah, exactly.
whatever
Like,
they do, it's
I'm
worth a
into
shot.
it. I am into it. Yep.
Okay, my next pick is an author I've never read from before, and that is That's Not How It Happened by Craig Thomas. This comes out on November 4th from Hanover Square Press. And this is about Paige, who never planned on being a stay at home mom, but when her husband Rob's screenwriting career suddenly takes off and their son Emmett is born, the decision is made for her. And years later, with her kids nearly grown and wondering what comes next, she decides to write a memoir about the challenges and joys of raising her child with a disability. And she never expects Hollywood to come knocking, eager to turn her inspiring story into a movie. And she is shocked, excited, and maybe a little bit terrified as well. For Rob, though, this might be the big break that he has been waiting for. His screenwriting career has stalled, and who better to adapt his wife's memoir than him? Meanwhile, Emmett can't quite understand why everyone is so obsessed with the fact that he has Down syndrome, but all of this attention somehow helps him meet his idol, and he is feeling all in. Their daughter, Darcy, on the other hand, could not care less. She is barely mentioned in the book, after all, and she is the so called normal kid, so she is feeling more invisible than ever, while her love life implodes and college decisions are hanging over her head. But as Hollywood sinks its teeth into their story, twisting, glamorizing, and selling their lives back to them, old wounds resurface and new betrayals emerge. And soon the family has to wonder, will this so called feel good movie bring them together, or will it be the thing that finally tears them apart? I think this one sounds really interesting. It sounds like it deals with some really complicated family dynamics and also just putting things in the spotlight that probably shouldn't be put in the spotlight, and the complications with Hollywood, and glamorizing just human experiences that are private family matters. So I like books that explore complicated things like that, and this sounds really interesting. So That's Not How It Happened by Craig Thomas.
I think that sounds really good. And as you were describing that, I was looking it up just to follow along. The audiobook is going to be narrated in part by Colby Smulders, who played
Ah.
Robin in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
I didn't
Oh,
know that she did audiobooks.
I think is Craig Thomas does do they have to do with How I Met Your Mother? The author?
He sure is. He's the
Did he write it?
co-creator he's a co-creator of How I Met Your Mother. Well, that
Okay.
would make sense. How fun is it that Robin is narrating for him?
Yeah, and it makes sense with the Hollywood tie-in and the show, and
Exactly.
yeah, really interesting. So,
Well, who's Josh Radnor now? See, I don't know people's names.
I don't know that
I
either.
knew it. He's frickin' How I Met Your Mother guy. He's the guy.
Oh, he is the guy.
He's the guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
Ted.
I
Ted.
Ted!
Ted Mosby. So
I
Ted
never
and
watched that
Robin.
show, like, from start to finish. I've seen it. I've seen lots of episodes, but I've never watched it start to
I
finish.
did watch it back in the day and I enjoyed it. My goodness,
Yeah.
2005 to 2014. It's been a minute. So,
Mhm.
wow. But yeah, okay. So Ted and Robin are narrating. Very exciting.
Well, that was a fun side tangent.
Fun side tangent, not to overshadow Craig in his novel, but think that's pretty fun.
That is fun.
Your book, they were talking about how, living in Hollywood or that sort of lifestyle can be glamorized. My book is a little bit similar, except it's royalty. It's called The Heir Apparent by Rebecca Armitage. This one comes out on December 2nd. And I have the author's note here, and she's talking about what was her inspiration for this. And she started thinking about this, way back in 2018. She was working as a television producer, and she was watching the wedding of Harry and Meghan. And as she was
Mm.
watching this, she was like, is something wrong with Harry? Like, he obviously is very thrilled to be marrying Meghan, but she couldn't shake the sense that he was also carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And so she started
Mm.
to think about, what would it be like if you're born royal, but you're not sure if you want it? Because oftentimes that's like, little girls want to be a princess when they grow up. Like, that's the goal. And like, what happens if that is your reality, but you don't want it? And that is how this novel was born. It starts off on New Year's Day in Tasmania, and the life that Lexi has carefully built is working out nicely. She's in the second year of medical school. She lives on a beautiful farm with her two best friends, and she's about to finally become more than friendly with Jack when a helicopter abruptly lands, and out steps her grandmother's right hand man with the tragic news that her father and older brother have been killed in a skiing accident. Lexi's grandma just happens to be the Queen of England. So, in addition to grieving them, she must accept the reality that she is suddenly next in line for the throne, a role she's publicly disavowed. So, she now has to move back to London and be the heir apparent, Princess Alexandrina, and she is greeted by a skeptical public not ready to forgive her for her past, grieving sister in law, and a scheming uncle. And yada, yada, yada. That's how this book is set up. And it basically follows her as she decides to embrace this lifestyle or not. And what she decides to, her grandma basically is giving her 1 year to decide, would you like to claim your birthright or do you want to disavow it? And we're going to find out. This is, I believe, a love story. So I think there's going to be a little romance in here. I like the sound of it. I do enjoy a novel with royalty in it, believe it or not. I don't often read them, but I've been known to enjoy a royal novel or two, and I'm excited for this. It's called The Heir Apparent by Rebecca Armitage.
Yeah, that sounds really good, and from what we know now, it sounds like her suspicions of Harry were potentially
Oh,
true.
yes. Yes, right?
So,
I know, I wonder how much of that is like, "Oh, what is that, Monday morning quarterbacking?" Like, "See, I knew it," or if, like,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
moment she, like, had written that down or something. I don't know. Either way, I could see the
Interesting though.
parallel.
Totally. Okay, my next pick is Palaver by Brian Washington. And this comes out on November 4th from FSG. And this is an author that I have never read before, but I have always wanted to. I have several of Washington's books on my TBR, on my shelves behind me. I have always wanted to read Memorial and
Yeah.
Family Meal. I think that he's the most known for his short story collection, Lot. And I don't read a ton of short story collections, so that one is not one that I'm super eager to pick up, but I do know that a lot of people love that short story collection. He's just a really beloved author. And this new one coming out in November sounds really great. In Tokyo, a young man spends his days working as an English tutor and his nights drinking with friends at the gay bar. He is in a messy relationship with a married man and has built a chosen family in Japan, but he is still estranged from his real family back in Houston. His relationship with his mother has always been complicated, especially since she favored his troubled homophobic brother, Chris. And it's been 10 years since they've all seen each other until she suddenly shows up at his doorstep right before Christmas. From the start, tension fills the apartment. Only the son's cat, Taro, stands between them. The mother is haunted by her past in Jamaica and memories of her own brother and is trying to make peace with all of her mistakes. The son, meanwhile, isn't sure that he can forgive her, but as life pulls them both in unexpected directions, she strikes up a gentle friendship with a local bistro owner, and he begins to connect with a new regular at the bar, and they start to see each other in a new light. Through shared meals, quiet conversations, and an unforgettable trip to Nara, they begin to redefine what home means and whether it might still include one another. It says that this one is told with warmth, wit, and deep compassion, and that this is a tender exploration of family and forgiveness and the ways that love can cross continents, generations, and all of the messy spaces in between. I love a messy family story.
Mhm.
This one does just sound really tender, but also hard. Deals with really messy, complicated things. And I'm curious to see how all of it gets tackled. And that's Palaver by Brian Washington.
Yes, this one is on my TBR as well, and I also have never read him. He's back here somewhere on my
Yes,
TBR shelf, but I have
I
not
know.
read them. We need to change that.
Yeah, just one of those authors that every time they come out with a new book, I'm like, I want to read that, and then the books have sat there, but maybe this time.
Maybe today's the day or now's the time.
Maybe
You
now's the
know,
time.
maybe now's the time. This episode, I feel like I've done books that are outside of my comfort zone, and I almost didn't bring this one because I'm like, I don't know if this is a me book, but I feel like maybe it could be fun for readers. It is called Love Me, Stalk Me by Laura Bishop. This is a dark romance, but I hear it is not as dark as some of the really, really dark romances. It's not as disturbing. This one comes out on December 2nd, and it is about Izzy Russo, and she works at a department store. She's the manager, and she is overworked, frankly. And she, to entertain herself, downloads an AI boyfriend app to fill the emotional void left by her inattentive real boyfriend. And she thinks she's just venting to a harmless chatbot named Caleb. But in reality, she's been pouring her deepest, dirtiest fantasies into the ears of Callahan Knight, her store's brooding new head of security. So it's set in a department store. She thinks it's an AI bot, and it's actually somebody she knows in real life. And he has been listening. The moment he saw her, he knew she was his Did he hack her phone? Absolutely. But who could blame him? A woman like Izzy deserves to be cherished by someone who truly knows her worth, and he'll do anything to be that man. So when Izzy finally sees her boyfriend for who he really is and the danger she's unknowingly been caught up in, Cal is ready to protect her no matter the cost, even if it means revealing the truth. So, this is a dark romance with very questionable ethics. However, it has good early reviews. It's got a 4.1 rating and 276 reviews so far, and it's not out yet. And folks are saying that it's pretty good. It also, I saw, was comped to You. You know how Joe's a bit of a
Oh, yeah.
stalker. Anytime I see that, I'm like, well, maybe. And I think this is one that could be perfect for the time of year when you're busy with holiday plans and family things and you just need a book to escape and you want to see a little yearning. So I thought I would bring it. This one is Love Me, Stalk Me by Laura Bishop.
A little yearning, a little questionable ethics,
Yeah.
perfect for the holiday need
n-
to escape.
Exactly. It's a dark romantic comedy. So
Yeah,
there you have
I'm
it.
l I'm loving the variety of your picks today.
You know what? I'll
Good
end with
job.
a normal thriller. Don't worry.
No, I think you should end with whatever your heart desires.
Okay.
My next pick is The Emergency by George Packer. This comes out on November 11th. This is also from FSG, which is a indie publisher that I
Ah.
do typically really like their books. And so just I'm noting that I have a couple of their books on my November radar. This is about an empire that has collapsed from boredom and loss of faith in itself. And in the emergency that follows, youth rebellions embrace radical new ideas of humanity. We have Dr. Hugo Rustin, who is the chief surgeon at the Imperial College Hospital and is increasingly estranged from his city and his family, from his wife. Annabelle, who finds fulfillment in their changed community, and especially from his teenage daughter, Selva, who has turned against her father's values completely. When an incident at the hospital leads to Rustin's disgrace, he seeks redemption in a quixotic and dangerous journey into the countryside, with Selva as his companion, just as the conflict between the burghers and the yeomen is reaching a crisis. The Emergency is a novel of ideas and it's a taut page turner. It asks what we owe each other across divided generations and classes, what common human bonds will end up remaining after a society falls apart. And this is said to create a vividly imagined world and takes us deep into the heart of troubled moments in time. I am very curious about this emergency, and I like books that explore disasters like this and conflicts between people and rebellions. It just sounds unique and interesting. The cover of this one is really unique. So, this one's a little bit of a wild card. This is one of those ones where I'm not sure. This could be a little bit weird, but it also could be exciting and fun. So, we will see one way or another. But that is The Emergency by George Packer, and it comes out on November 11th.
Excellent. Yes, I was doing a little light Googling when you were talking about him. He
Hmm.
is an American journalist too. So he writes for The Atlantic. And he's
Yes.
written quite a bit of nonfiction. So that I was like, do I have the right person? And then I was like, okay, this makes sense given what the
Yes.
book is about.
And I like The Atlantic. So,
Yeah. All right. I will wrap things up with my safe place, my fun thrillers. It's called Watch Us Fall by Christina Kovac. And I
ah,
wanted a copy of this one because I read her years ago. I want to say I read her debut, and she is a former DC broadcast news producer. And her debut was called The Cutaway. And that was a book that I enjoyed. And I was like, I'm excited to see that she's got more coming out. This one is about Lucy and her three best friends who share a glamorous but decaying house in the heart of Georgetown. They call themselves the Sweeties. Just go with it. And live an idyllic post grad lifestyle complete with exciting jobs, dramatic love lives, and more importantly, each other. But when Addie, the group's queen bee, discovers that her ex boyfriend Josh has gone missing, their world is turned upside down. Before he disappeared, Josh, he is a star investigative journalist from a prominent political family, he had been behaving erratically, and Lucy's determined to find out why. All four friends upend their lives to search for him, but detectives on Josh's case begin to suspect that they might know more than they're letting on. And as the investigation unfolds, Lucy's obsession with the case reaches a boiling point, and with it, her own troubling secrets begin bubbling to the surface of her carefully curated life. So, this is a book about lies and delusions that lurk beneath cloistered groups of female friends and the sinister realities of celebrity. So I'm intrigued. I like a psychological thriller. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the premise of this super does not match the cover. Like you would not have this looks like a thriller, but like the sweeties, like I did not think we were getting something that sounds a little bit, I don't know, juvenile given this cover. Like this looks like a serious cover to me. But
Mm-hmm.
we will have to see how this goes. And this book is Watch Us Fall by Christina Kovac.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. That one wasn't on my radar, so I'm glad that you brought it.
Yay.
My next one is from an author that I have read before, and that is The Place Where They Buried Your Heart by Christina Henry. This comes out on November 4th. This is a Berkeley title. And the books that I have read from Christina Henry before, she writes a lot of retellings. I read The Girl in Red, which is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. She also has a series called Alice, which is an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I think she has a Peter Pan one about Hook. She just writes really, really interesting, kind of darker retelling fiction and that leans a little bit more on the horror side. So this one is set on an otherwise ordinary street in Chicago, and there is a house, an abandoned house where once upon a time terrible things have happened. The children who live on this block are told by their parents to stay away from the house, but of course, children never listen, and children think that it's fun to be scared and to dare each other to go inside. Jessie did what many older sisters do and dared her little brother, Paul. But unlike all the other kids who went inside the abandoned house, Paul never returned. His two friends, Jake and Richie, said that the house ate Paul up. Of course, the adults didn't believe that. Adults never believe what kids say, after all. They thought someone kidnapped Paul or otherwise hurt him and took him away. They thought that Paul had disappeared in a way that was ordinary and explainable. The disappearance of her little brother broke Jessie's family apart in a way that could never be repaired, and Jessie grew up, had a child of her own, and she kept living on the same street where the house that ate her brother sat, crouched and waiting. Darkness seemed to spread out of the house, and it was a darkness that was alive and it was still hungry. So, sounds creepy. I am hit or miss, if I'm honest, on haunted house stories, but this has a disappearance element to it. And I don't know, I'm curious what the answers are for this already. I know that I like Christina Henry, and I'm curious what she's going to do with a story like this one. And that is The Place Where They Buried Your Heart by Christina Henry.
I am a haunted house girl, so I do like the
Mm-hmm.
sound of that one. I've also never I actually have not read this author though. I feel like I've had a couple of her books on my radar, but have never
Mm-hmm.
quite gotten there. I will wrap with what I'm currently reading. And I am reading a book in anticipation of our Book Talk Etc. community read chat next week. So, our book that we've chosen is Heart the Lover by Lily King. And some of our patrons were saying that you really should read Writers and Lovers by Lily King first to really get the full appreciation. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so sure that I owned that book somewhere. I can't find it. So I do have the audio though. And so that is what I've been listening to the entire
Oh,
time that I've been
perfect.
working on this. I am 47% of the way through the audiobook and I'm only 4 hours in. So it's like an 8 hour audiobook. So nothing
Okay.
too
Not too
crazy.
long.
I have to be honest and say though, I'm not loving it. It is a book that I DNF'd initially. I'm coming back to it. I'm trying to have an open
Mm.
mind, but there is a lot of medical trauma or medical talk in this one, as well as debt.
Mhm.
Both of those things are
Literally
things
your 2
I
triggers.
my two triggers. I'm like, I don't like to read about it, but she's winning me back because it's set in Boston, which I love, and it's set in a restaurant, which I also love. So I am sort of just going along for the ride, and I'm hopeful that things are going to work out. I do believe I see the inklings of a love triangle happening, so I'm intrigued.
Mhm.
But the book that I'm currently reading is Writers and Lovers by Lily King.
I am currently reading one that I have already mentioned that I was reading, and then I had to pause it to read a couple other things.
Yes.
And now I am returning back to it to finish it up. I only have about, I don't know, 50 pages or so left. And that's The Bog Wife by Kay Chronister. And I'm really loving it. I have a feeling this is going to be at least a 4.5 read. This is an Appalachian Gothic family, like eco horror. I don't know if I would
Mhm.
say horror, but it's definitely like an ecological, historical family saga. And it is told from all of these siblings' perspectives. We get a little piece of each sibling, and I'm really enjoying each of their POVs, which doesn't always happen when you're reading from multiple points of view. So I am really loving it, and I am very excited to bring it to the show when I finish it because I think it will be a glowing review. And that is The Bog Wife by Kay Chronister.
Now, you told us a story at Mood Reader Happy Hour, but is The Bog Wife the book you were supposed to read for your buddy read, or is this the other one?
This is the book that I was supposed to be reading for my buddy read.
Got you. But you initially read a different one or started a different one.
Yeah, I brought, and sorry, I was thinking about something else and I got distracted. The book that I brought as a shelf edition was The Bog Queen by Anna North.
Yes.
And I do still really want to read that one.
That's what it
But
is. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
They are, yeah. We were talking about like, okay, fair amount of bogs, and I
Uh
can't keep
huh.
track of them in,
Yeah.
you know,
And I technically did finish The Bog Wife in on audio, but I did not remember the end. And I was like, you know what? I want to go back and read the last 50
yeah.
pages.
Let me
So
see
that's
what
what I'm doing.
let me see what they had to say because I don't remember. Okay.
Let me see
That
what they have to
is
say. But
fair. All right, well, that is it for today, folks. We thank you for spending a part of your day with us. Links to all the books mentioned can be found in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, you can help us by following wherever you listen and by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us get our show out to new listeners and grows our audience. And don't forget, if you'd like access to exclusive bonus content and community, you can join us for $5 a month on patreon.com/booktalk, etc.
if you'd like to connect with us, you can email us at booktalk.etc@gmail.com. You can also connect with us both at Booktalk Etc. on Instagram, and Tina at TBR Etc. and Hannah at Handpicked Books. Talk to you next week. And in the meantime, remember,
Everything's better with books. So I am a psycho and I love to try and read books that I think are going to have a chance of being on my best of the year list. Like I'm
oh,
very
okay.
like my best of the year list is very important to me and I feel like I have to make sure that I'm reading the 2025 releases that I think stand a chance at
Yeah.
being on my best of list.